Hey y'all, I'm Dr. Day, and I am on a mission. I am on a mission to empower nurses. If you are an experienced nurse, a new to practice nurse, a student nurse, or maybe you just want to learn a little bit more about the nursing profession, this space is for you. And I'm so glad you're here. I just wanted to introduce myself and give you a little bit more information about me and my background. I am born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, and originally I was in business. Nursing is a second career for me. I got my business degree at the School of Business and Industry at Florida A&M University and spent years in that space in the corporate world doing corporate marketing and advertising. And while it was fun at the beginning, I started to get a little restless. I really wanted to get into a line of work that was more fulfilling, more rewarding. I wanted to help others and I wanted to really make a difference in people's lives. And it was at this time I was at a crossroads that my grandmother became very ill. We were extremely close, and she had been in a nursing home and had gotten a pressure injury. That pressure injury did get infected and she became septic. Now, at that time, I had no idea what sepsis meant. I had no clue. I just knew that she wasn't herself. She was admitted to the hospital and she was very confused. What I know now is that there were all these toxins moving around in her body. She didn't know who we were. And now I'll tell y'all the truth. Out of dozens and dozens of grandchildren that she had, I was her favorite. I'm 100% convinced I was her favorite. And I would sit in that room and she wouldn't know who I was. And it was heartbreaking. But one day I was in there, it was late one afternoon, and the nurse walks in. And my grandmother just sat up. This look of recognition all just appeared on her face. She had a big smile. Her eyes got bright. And I was like, well, who is this lady? And my grandmother says, are you going to be taking care of me? And the nurse like, yes, I'm your nurse for tonight. And my grandmother, the look of relief, the look of joy and happiness that was on her face because this particular nurse, who was clearly a good nurse, um, it just gave her a sense of calm. And in that moment, it was like I got a message from up on high that this was the path I was to take. Because if that nurse could have that impact, and not only on my grandmother, but on us as a family, uh, that was what I wanted to do. That is where I wanted to be in that space. And so a month later, my grandmother had passed away. I went on to get my prerequisites at a community college and then went back to school for nursing and graduated with my bachelor's from Georgia State University here in Atlanta, Georgia. But before I graduated, I got a job as a nurse extern in a local hospital. And real quick public service announcement, y'all. Let me lean in. If you are a nursing student, I want to highly recommend that you try and find a way, if possible. I know nursing school is tough, it is time consuming, and you might even have a family that you also have to take care of. But if you can, in some kind of way, get a job as a nurse extern or a tech and just work the minimal number of hours so that you can get your foot in the door, start applying your clinical skills, and start making connections, especially if you're in a hospital where you actually want to work after you graduate. It is priceless. The knowledge that you get and the connections that you make, it's you will learn as long as you show up. You got to show up. You got to show up right. It makes the pathway of getting hired so much easier. All right, public service announcement over. I'm gonna sit back, finish my story. So after I graduated, I went on to become a staff nurse in the burn ICU and then went on to become a burn program manager, trauma program manager. I had several other leadership roles. My last role as a leader was as a nurse executive, the vice president of nursing professional development and clinical quality. And in that role was the most learning I did as a leader. My department was responsible for the continuing education, onboarding, orientation of every single nurse in the hospital. In addition to that, my team had the nurse residency program as well as the nurse extern program. So I got to learn the traits, the personality traits, the clinical skills that are required, and how they align with every single department in the hospital. And I don't say that to impress you, but just to impress upon you the breadth and the depth of my experiences as I'm bringing some of these tips, some of these suggestions, some of these takeaways that I learned in that very recent role, in that very recent leadership role. So I hope to be able to bring some value to you and to help you as you continue on wherever you are in your professional nursing journey. I look forward to growing with you, getting to know you, for you to get to know me, and good luck wherever you are. And I will see you soon.